Welcome to Ninerology. I'm your host, Alan, and let's talk about injuries. The 49ers have hit the injury bug, and it does not look pretty. It looks very reminiscent of 2020. We don't want to bring that up. We don't want that to happen, especially this year for the 49ers, which seems to be one of their last best shots at that sixth Lombardi with the current roster as it is now. But let's take a look really quick. If we take a step back, Matt Maiocco just announced that the 49ers and Saints have mutually agreed to cancel their joint practices, which were set for this week leading up to week 2 of the preseason games. And that's because the injury bug has hit both locker rooms. Let's just talk about some of the injuries that the 49ers have run into. Just announced today, Kalia Davis is out for the first half of the season. Talk about a huge blow. If you watch the first preseason game, Kalia Davis was regularly in the backfield, setting his mark, which is great because you started to see him develop as that pass rusher and run stuffer. But injuries hit him, and we didn't find out until today that he's going to miss at least half of the season with a knee injury. And then you have Isaac Yiadom, who is out this week. He's week to week. We got Ambry Thomas, who has a broken forearm. John Feliciano with the knee injury. He's week to week. You got Spencer Burford with a broken hand. All of that has now led to Dominic Pooney, which is actually a great thing for him. He's a rookie who's now entrenched himself to be the favorite to be the starting right guard. But it took two injuries on that side of the ball, and now you got Christian McCaffrey with the strained calf, who's not going to play the rest of the preseason. You have Mitch Wisnowski. The 49ers had to sign a backup punter because even the punter has got the injury bug. Mitch Wisnowski has that knee irritation. Then you have Drake Jackson, who is out for the year. You'll probably never hear his name again when it comes to the 49ers roster because that was just a failed experiment. There was a lot of hopes for Drake Jackson to be that edge rusher opposite of Nick Bosa, and it just never came to fruition. And I think the point here is the 49ers either need to slow down, figure out what is causing this. Sometimes it's just a string of bad luck. Sometimes it's a string of having 4 back-to-back seasons going deep into the playoffs and that catching up. Could also be a result of having the oldest roster in the NFL. There's a lot of contributing factors. And then there's the fact that Brandon Ayuk and Trent Williams aren't here. Let's say that they both get re-signed. Now they have to get into football shape. And typically when you're trying to ramp up faster than you normally do, that's when the injuries happen. So the 49ers, you need to be careful. You need to take care of that depth. You still have Dre Greenlock potentially coming back. Talanoa Hufanga, who has a big appointment on Thursday. Hopefully he passes that and comes back. But be careful because injuries do happen in the NFL. But also, it looks like the 49ers are on a trend toward 2020, and they need to find some way to course correct what's going on. Maybe that's changing how they structure their practices, focus more on the recovery. But all we know is the 49ers have been riddled with injuries, and hopefully this isn't a sign of things to come. So Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, take a deep look at how you're running the practices, focus more on recovery, and make sure to add depth to those areas that you need because we do not want a failed season due to injuries. Well, that's all we have today for Ninerology. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you